Hi, it's Shannon here from audioenergy.com, and today we're going to be looking at the next part in our trailer series. So it's probably trailer making trailers part 4. So let's get into it. Okay, so today we're making trailers part 4. Today we're going to be looking a little bit at some actual mixing qualities and things like that to do with the music. We've got all our music together, we've got all our tracks together. We just want to set some levels. We want to make sure that everything is nicely pressed down. I just want to have a look here, and I'm just going to check that I'm using those. Yep, okay, so all good to go. So why don't we go over to the screen here, and we'll start recording our screen. Okay, so what we have here now is I'm using all my audio channels. Okay, you can see all these ones highlighted here. We've got the crickets, that's our audio channel, strings, high, low. We also have, what's our orchestra, string subs, and all our other channels, masters, etc. Okay, so they're all there. We're not using our MIDI, we're using all our audio, okay, that we've put down. I've altered some of these, but we're going to go through and have a little bit of a look at each one. Let's just start with crickets. That's not a bad level. Just going to turn this up a little bit so I can hear it. So I'm going to bring this down maybe 2 dB, just around 2 dB there. I'm going to keep it fully panned, that's fine. Okay, so now we're going to start with our strings. What I've done also, you can see that I've highlighted all of these. I've just clicked a segment, which is the video segment. I held Shift and Alt together, and it highlighted the whole lot. So I can show you that again. I'm going to hold Shift and Alt. There we go. Okay, so it's just kind of highlighting that, but I don't want it out here. So I'm going to highlight this first, Shift Alt. There we go. So it's just keeping that portion all in line. Okay, I'm doing this because I just want to be able to hear everything playing back. It's not important from the start to finish. So, we're looking at our strings, and there we are. Now there's 2 ways you could do this really, when it comes to panning and things like that. You could keep everything fully panned, or you can actually set it up in a way that you would normally hear an orchestra. Now that would probably be more suitable for live performances and things like that. It does work pretty well in your stereo mixes if you want to do it that way for film. What I tend to do sometimes, depending how many instruments I actually have there, I will pan them out, but just for interest's sake today, we'll pan them out a little bit. So I'm going to keep this going. Now, if this were first strings, it would be far here, as far as you can to the right, or left, depending on your perspective. And we're going to bring the other one to about 35%. So that would cover the range of your first strings, maybe even a little further down, probably 45 perhaps. But I'm going to keep it there for now. We're looking at our EQ. We haven't EQ'd it. So because they're high strings, I'll just pause it. Because they're high strings, we can do a bit of a roll off here. I'm going to make it pretty steep. I'm going to 12 dB roll off. And I'm going to bring it up to probably a little over 100. Because there's really not a lot in that range that's being heard. I could bring it up here, but you're going to notice it tends to lose a bit of its room atmosphere. So I'll leave it at 106, and we'll just want to bump it up a little bit. Now that's probably hurting your ears a little. We can tighten it up. Bit of frequency through. I want to get rid of some of that. And we'll do this one as well. Now there is a fair bit of brightness in that area that we don't really want to lose around the strings, so I'm just going to keep that up. I'm going to raise my shelf up just a little bit and pull it back. I'm going to keep it around 1.5 dB. And this one here is just going to give a little bit of body on the lower end of the string there. It's not really going to be heard because the strings are playing up there, but it's just that element of air in the low end, which does exist. Okay, so let's push it right up. And you can actually hear the plucking and the sort of like the strumming on the strings there. It is there. So you don't want to lose too much of that. If you start cutting everything out of your mix, it's really going to sound very bland or sound very flat, and it's not something you want to do. You want to try and keep as much in there as possible. We don't need to really cut a lot out. Let's just get a tiny little bit of body in it. I just want to keep that there like that. So let's go along to the next one, and this is our low strings. Now I can do a roll off here, but let's just go down to say 12. That's more than enough. I mean normally you'd roll it to say 16 like that. I just want to bring it down to say 14 actually. There we are. Now I want to give a little bit of this boost here. You can see that's quite a lot of, it's very muddy and muffled around here. Just want to take out some of that muddiness there, not a lot. Move this up a little bit, tighten, this is our cue, this will tighten our cue. Now there's a fair bit of buzzing there, I don't want that, I don't need that. Okay, just going to give this a little bit of energy here as well, maybe pull that back a little. And with this one, it's 1.1 dB, let's move it up around, I don't want it too high. We'll check that. 2 dB is pretty distinguishable. That's pretty distinguishable. That's starting to sound pretty good. It's coming along now. So this one now, these are our orchestra strings. You've got a fair bit of mid-range here. So let's, I really don't want to pull any off the bottom or the top. I just want to brighten things up a little bit. So let's have a listen. Let's have a listen. Let's boost a little bit of it. Tighten that a bit. There's a fair bit of resonance around that 300 zone. Now I'm not going to push as beautiful as this one is, I'm not going to push the lows on that because I already got the low strings, so I'm not going to push that very hard, just give it a 5 dB touch there. This one's quite sharp. Let's see if we can bring that back a little bit. Tighten the cue a bit. That's pretty good. Also, let's see, with our low strings, let's go back to low strings for a minute. Normally with the low strings, you actually have your cellos and your double bass on this side, so if we want to, we can sort of push that over here. I'm going to do 35 like that one is. I've got quite a big gap of string in the middle that I can run up the middle there, a bit of space there, so let's see. Okay, so that's coming along pretty good. We get our string sub, so it's all our 3 strings are going into our sub mix here, but I'll come back to that one later. This one is our horns. Now with your horns, again, depending on the orchestral setup, it could be a few different places, but normally you'd find them probably, say, from 65, maybe, I mean, just depending, but right up to about, say, I mean, technically they can go right along the front through the middle there, but they're normally up to about here like this. I'll bring that back down to 10 and boost that to 60. Oops. 60, there we are. And so you're going to hear the horns. And let's give it a bit of EQ. Now horns, the horn sound is very strong, sort of from about 500 up to about 2000. It's pretty defining there, and we can put that in. I'm going to do a little roll off, because I don't want that energy coming through. So if I push this up, so if I do that, you can really hear that there's got some nice qualities in the trumpet, a bit of the as it's blowing, things like that. But I don't want to push them up that high. I'm going to bring them down a little bit and just put a bit of plateau there. Maybe tighten the EQ just a little bit, just bring it down. Let's bring it down a few more dB, because we don't want those to be dominant. And when we get compressors onto that, it's going to cause more problems. We just want a little bit of air. I'm going to pull that back down to 4. Yeah, about 4. I don't know if it's fine. So there we go. Now it's giving a bit of a bias over to our right. That's fine. These are our pads. We're going to keep this wide, because pads are very atmospheric, and you want that kind of sitting at the background behind everything. It's kind of like a white noise kind of fill in, I suppose you want to call it. But pads are always good for filling in. You want them wide, you want them spatial, so we're keeping them fully expanded there. Okay. Now, what are the qualities of sound in this particular sound, this sample? Okay. Leave that at 18. Let's give this a bit of a boost and see where we. I kind of want to fill the area in around here, you know? So I'm going to pull this back from 1,000. Kind of want, because they are atmospheric, I want to keep them a little bit wider. So you are getting a lot of those qualities in. I more want the airy, higher quality, more than I want the low. That's why I've just pulled this one down a little bit, because if it was up, it's really not that pleasant. So let's keep that as it is for now. Maybe bring that down a little bit. Bring that down a little bit. Tighten that. Okay, there we go. And okay, our pianos. Now, pianos are a little bit tricky. We will keep them fully spread. It depends where you actually want them. I mean, we could put them in the middle here, and maybe bring them out to sort of 16 each side, if we want that as our main feature. Now we're filling in, I mean, let's push it right out to, say, 30 actually. We still want to keep it wide. 30, 32. There we are. So that's filling in the area that these are kind of leaving out. So you see everything sort of spread hard right, hard left, hard left. And then we've got this sort of filling in the middle. So we're keeping this in this span. It's staying at the front. There's not a lot of lows in this. So again, I can roll off pretty high. Some of you are probably thinking I'm rolling off too high, but it's actually okay. I'm not using a lot of low end in this playing anyway. So piano has a nice air, about 4.5, and it's got some nice. I kind of like my piano to be bright, but soft. I want to reduce that. Take some of that out. Let's push this up. See, it loses quite a lot of energy. But we can sort of replace some of that with compressors and stuff. But it's better to just work the EQ, and then you have a wider Q. Put a little bit of sharpness where you want it. Just tighten the Q on that. Yeah, right around there is a bit nicer. Let's bring it down a little bit. Roll that back. So I'm not using earphones or anything here, I'm just using open monitors. And it's quite low just for the reason of this mix, so it doesn't come back into the microphone. Okay, so there we have it. That's pretty much everything. So let's just basic EQing and everything on that. So get everything nice and tidy. Let's have a listen. So that's sounding pretty good. The next thing you want to do, let's control safe these. Okay, so we're putting our control safe and we're making sure that they stay on permanently. The next thing we want to do is let's get a bus for this. So we'll go 13, 14, and I want to send. Let's take this off. And I want to send everything that's coming from here to 13, 14 because that's my one bus. These will be, this one will have to go 13, 14 as well. And I'm going to bring a send from this one to the reverb, because this is my reverb for piano. And I want to send that to 13, 14 as well. Okay. Now, these one are all, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So I'll go, let's have a look. We can make these, we don't need inputs for these anymore, so I can take the inputs off. I'm going to make this, let's just make it 1, 2, make things simple. Okay, and we want to send these to 1, 2. There we are. This is 7, 8. Actually, we can make this 3, 4 now. 3, 4. We can make this one 5, 6. So I'm going back a little bit, changing them around. It doesn't matter. They were mainly that one because of my input. Okay, so this lesson might go on a little bit longer than I planned, but that doesn't really matter right now. So I'm going to do, this one doesn't need input actually because that's just the raw piano. And we're going to make this one 7, 8, and this one 9, 10. There you go, so I've got one spare. Now everything is essentially running from here to my submix, okay? Now the reason I'm doing that is because I want to put on here, I want to put on my, let's see, what do I want to do? Dynamics. I'm going to put on my FGX mastering tool. Okay. And then I'm also going to put on my expander. So it's sound field. And I want my sound 1 imager. Okay, so I'll leave that as is for the meantime. And on my very final channel, I'm going to put on my limiter. Okay, I'm going to set my limiter, the threshold to -3, and I'll set this one to -1. There we are. So I'm letting everything come right to the top. I'm not going to compress anything much at all. It's all going to flow through. Compression is going to be a little bit back here, a little bit here. Very, very mild compression on everything. We want it to be natural, we want it to be airy and flowing, but we still want our levels to kind of be up there and pretty well balanced. So here we go, let's have a look. Preamp. this is my compressor, this is my lifter. Okay, so we're just linking our strings. There we go. That's kind of pushing everything down a little bit. And we're going to send this over to 13, 14 as well, because that should be going through there. Let's pull the pianos down 3 dB. Okay, so we're coming along here now. You can see all this. I'm just going to solo these, and I'm going to, just to make things go a bit quicker, put in my channel bus, and I'm going to set that to USA so everything's all the same. Give it a little drive there. And let's put on, let's get a little compressor. Let's use this one. This one smashes in pretty good. Now the piano has, it's playing one that's kind of quick and one that has a bit of a release on it as well. So we want a bit of a quicker compression to catch it. As you see there, boom, there it is. And we want to kind of let our release go pretty quick as well, so don't want to lose that air on it. The other thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to try a revival, just to give it a little bit more. Don't want shimmer. No, that's kind of taken it away, hasn't it? Let's try my good old lift. I'm going to go to silky. Now you're not going to get a lot of this come in because that's for low end, so maybe the best thing to do, I think that's quite fresh as left as it is anyway. Let's have a look at our reverb. Actually, before I do, I need to put a send on. I need to put a send on here, so I'm going to just put a send in. Let's make it 11, 12. Okay. And we're going to put on pre. Let's see. We'll leave that. So that should now be going to, sorry, we want that as 910. We want that 910. 910. There we are. So that is now going through here, down into this one, okay, and over to here. The send we have a signal coming down. The signal split off into this one, goes through the reverb, and that also goes over here. So that's how the sends work. Let's have a look. Let's go just a basic prepaid default. Keys. Epic synth space, key ambience. Gain up. We'll leave the wet right up. We'll give it a quick decay. I want that pre-delay to be around 10 seconds. I want to add a little bit of chorus, not a lot. Bring the width back in because we don't want it way out. Reduce my decay down to say that's pretty good. And the other thing I want to do is put an EQ on, and we're going to do our Abbey Road with this one. Okay, it's for the EQ. Remember, we bring it up to about 600, and we bring this one down to about anywhere from down to 2, I guess. But I might keep it around. Don't like that there. There's a little bit of that nuisance noise there, so I'm going to pull that back a bit. Give this a bit of a boost. There we are. Let's just have a look at that EQ again. I might put this one on, I don't want that high. There we are. So let's hear that. Get everything there. So I think what we should do now, actually there's one more thing we should do here. 2 more things actually. We've got our whole session running. I want to put a 1.2 compression. I want it going pretty fast. Reasonably fast release. The threshold I want it coming into, well look here. We know it's sitting around 2022, so I want to squash it down around 13, thereabouts. Pretty much running equal balance on peak. The RMS is 1.5 dB. RMS is 1.5 dB difference, so you can't really see from that a lot. Okay, so we almost got this down. Now technically I don't want this punching too hard. It should really be probably around 20 to 14. There's probably anywhere in there is probably good. So let's get that going. Now, we got that going. We're going to hear a little bit of a difference when I start pushing this out. It's going to expand everything out throughout the stereo field. I love this thing. It's one of my favorite tools. Now, you're probably noticing there's a bit of a bias, a fair bit of left side going on. It's basically because we've sort of pushed some of these over here. We've got some of these there, kind of all over the place. That's just the way it works, you know. Not a lot you can change. I mean, you can put it all back to stereo if you want to, but I think this allows a little bit more space moving through the mix. With your auxiliaries, you definitely want them panned hard left and right anyway. So these are pretty much equal balanced here. The only difference would be that this is leaning more to that side, but what we might do is push it over a little bit more. Some more signal over there. So I'll just pause it there for a minute. I think that's starting to sound pretty good. In any case, probably just about ready. Let's have a look at it with the video screen. Now you might notice this is going to jump a little bit because I am running recording software, I'm running video software and Pro Tools. So it might be a little bit jumpy, but let's go back to the beginning here. Well, there you go. So I think that looks pretty good. And at the end of the day, that's just about everything that we really need to do to it. You could bounce all those audio files out and make a bit of a master and see how it goes from there. But all in all, I don't think it's really that necessary because what we've done essentially is by using our sort of master in this, we've got all the levels pretty much right. Now, I haven't had a good listen to it through my earphones, so I can get in real deep. These are my earphones here, if I haven't showed you before. DT990s, they're Bayer. They've got 250 ohm resistance, I think 260, 250. And so it allows you to drive up the volume, and it's going to allow you to get deeper and deeper into the mix and really hear any problems that's going on. But for now, I think as for the example of this video, I think we've done a pretty good job, and I'll go from there and we'll see you next time. So thanks a lot.